A lot of people think that these green areas in the city are waste, fallow land. But Justice Waziri has taken a view that these areas are factories which produce oxygen. They are areas which are soaking in rainwater, and hence a lot of people would maintain these green areas in Insaaf Bagh and Maafi Bagh. Justice Waziri, welcome to The Print and this interview. We're very keen to know this unusual method that you had of instilling community service in people. Can you tell us a bit about how did you reach this idea of Insaaf Bagh and Maafi Bagh?
When people come for quashing of FIRs, it means that there was some dispute between them. And the dispute goes on for some time. Sometimes it's a case of family dispute, husband and wife. And normally it takes many years to find a separation or a settlement. Often it ends in a divorce. So it must be the last time when they'll be under one roof. I thought that was a time when there should be a larger aspect of finding peace with oneself. So I would gently ask them, now that the matter is going to get closed, would you like to do something for the city, for your society and for yourself? Some kind of catharsis, some kind of peace with yourself. And I would gently say, would you like to plant 10 trees? That was a sense of great comfort for them, that I'm able to do something. Initially, it didn't make so much sense, but one case after the other, when this picked up, I've done hundreds of cases like this, then people realized that there's a cathartic element to this. And people just kept planting trees. Initially, it was in North Delhi. I remember many thousands of trees got planted. Then there was a very interesting case where a former army man, he also had a quashing of his FIR. And I said 100 trees. He was more than happy. He said, I want to plant 500 trees in the southern ridge. He said, I want to take care of it for the next 6 months. I said, please go ahead and do that. So we had any number of citizens coming forward and joining the process because they wanted to do something for their city. And I found people wanted to do good. Doing good is natural for people. And quashing of FIRs, planting of trees was more of atonement. Maafi, apne aap se maafi, samaj se maafi, waqt se maafi. And that's why we coined this name, Maafi Bagh. And that was in Southern Ridge, because the land there is huge, runs into thousands of acres of land on the ridge. And it's strategically located between 3 cities, Delhi, Faridabad and Gurgaon. Right. So that's a wonderful way in rejuvenating the entire Aravali system there. That's one. Then in the central Delhi, that was more to do with contempt cases, where we found that yes, there was a contempt, found guilty. One could have sentenced them. But a better way forward was that if they apologize, you accept the apology, wherever it was due, wherever it was acceptable. And then there was a compensation, more of again an atonement. And lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees have been spent towards creation of, in the central ridge, what we now call Insaaf Bagh. When you are challenging the court's orders or disobeying court's orders, then the court is asserting its powers under Article 215. So that's Insaaf. So these two elements, these two concepts are very important in any civilized society. Maafi bhi mango or Insaaf hona chahiye. Now the court just found a way of doing something for the larger good, because one found that every day around our neighborhood, we would find the trees are being felled, or the footpaths are being concretized, which gradually leads to the death of a tree. It stops breathing. There's no water going in. So it starts drying up. The termites going in, and you have these wonderful trees which have been there for 20 years, 40 years, 70 years. They just dry in once and just fall down. And then the next day papers report, 100 trees down in central Delhi or this part and that part. That's only in an area where the media actually goes and reports it. What of the rest of the city? These trees are being felled or fall otherwise, as if we have so much of a wealth of felling for trees. Felling of trees, no, aisa mumkin nahi hai. We have to keep that intact and actually work towards that. So I thought the concept of Insaaf, that's justice, and Maafi, that's atonement. are two very essential values which every society must actually keep in the forefront. We keep that ahead, we find a very peaceful society.
So do you find that a good environment serves every citizen, and which is why this made perfect community service?
It's important and essential that we secure the trees in our neighborhood. The neighborhood is very important. If your neighborhood is happy and green, you'll stay there. People go outside the country, they go to the hills also very often. Chalo ghoom टहल के आते हैं. What is the attraction? Clean air, verdant areas, and that's the attraction. There's a lot of stress in the city. To de-stress, you want to go to green areas. After all, there's something known as forest bathing nowadays.
Yeah.
People go to the forest areas. When you have an Insaaf Bagh, that's 853 acres of land in their possession at the moment. Lodi Gardens is 90 acres. So you can have 10 Lodi Gardens, one contiguous space of a good, rich, thick forest. People can do, in due course, enjoy the benefit of that greenery. It becomes a carbon sump and lends so much of fresh oxygen every day.
This view of yours to look at every tree as an oxygen factory is not followed very much by the new age architects who are now making new colonies. What do you think? Is this a sign of a smart city? What really would be a smart city then?
I believe that development is not always concretization. Prudent development will always include the existing flora and fauna. Keep that alive. You have to take the trees within your development things. There are, after all, go all over the world, you'll find some smart aspects, of good designing. They bring the tree within the building, or live around that, or make your activity around that, so they're not cut down. If you just kill the greenery around you, you will not have much left. And then you want to bring in trees as compensatory afforestation. That will take 20 years or 25 years to get to that stage. The living is today in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
That entire colony has been robbed of its green cover. What do they do then? You just got more concrete. You got more vehicles moving around. How do the school children stand there? The habitat has to be protected. Please see, if you want to cut a couple of trees, it should be just that, but you should not disturb the habitat. You gradually, this ever creeping concretization is actually robbing you of the wealth which is in your greenery.
Yeah.
I think that's a very sad aspect, and that's where citizens have to come in. And citizens, I found so many citizens coming to the courts, and they were very enthusiastic to do something.
Yeah. In the last 10-12 years while you've been in the court, did you find enough support for your ideas and your practices within the government?
A place like Delhi, you have the forest department, you've got various municipal agencies, municipal corporation, DDA, you've got other agencies, Jal board and everybody. So they have their own chunks of land. But those chunks of land are open and barren. You have to gradually tell them, come along now, plant it here, plant it here, plant it here, which was their job to do. Because that's actually forest area.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go and plant trees and make it green.
Yeah.
That was just left fallow. Through the process of plantation of lakhs of trees through court orders, those areas have now got forests or other neighborhood parks which have about 8-year-old trees.
So what's your parting message to people who could possibly be inspired by your work and carry it forward? Yeah.
Your Delhi is yours, your city is yours, go and take care of it. It's as simple. See, people have a right over their environment. हवा को कोई बांट थोड़ी सकता है, पानी को कोई बांट नहीं सकता. So if you want a clean city, you want a happy city, you want a lovely environment, go and do something, go and do your bit about it. And I've found people are more than ready. They're happy to do this. Hundreds of lawyers and citizens have joined in. They have to go ahead and do this. They have to be a little more vigilant to take care of the environment.
Yeah.